making 30% returns without lifting a finger. With Mez NFT, this is no longer just a possibility. Our groundbreaking platform allows you to invest in a mini farm and benefit from our sheep breeding operations. Earn up to 30% annual returns while we handle the hard work. Watch your investment grow as we manage and sell the flock of sheep. Our intuitive dashboard keeps you updated with real-time data on the flock, your investment's value, and expected payouts. Ready to join an exclusive community of savvy investors? Seize this opportunity to profit from cutting-edge agricultural innovation. Visit tgnpodcast.com, Mez, and become a part of the Mez NFT sheep breeding investment community today.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Golden Nuggets podcast. My name is Hanafi. Next to me I have Ami. And today's session is a bit special because this man has helped businesses, including his, to raise millions. Right, am I right? And his name is Umar Munshi. Welcome, brother.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So, how do you feel being on a physical podcast for the first time?
It feels good. I think it's rather than all virtual and behind the scenes, don't know what's going on.
Before this is all Zoom, is it?
Yeah, mostly Zoom. I do a lot of webinars and talks online.
Okay. So, why do you want to come over here? Why are you willing to be here in our show?
Well, we have a few very important things that we want to spread awareness of. And I think you guys have a podcast that have a good relevant following. People who care about business, finance, investments, about the future.
Okay.
A little bit more serious stuff.
Yes.
But important serious stuff.
Okay. So for our listeners who don't know, maybe you can introduce yourself a bit more. What do you do, and also what were the businesses you have started and also help, and the current business that you are doing now?
Sure. So my name is Umar Munshi, Singaporean. I've lived a large chunk of my life outside Singapore.
Okay.
I was living in Indonesia for 6 years plus, and now I'm living in Kuala Lumpur. I've been here for 6 years. So 13 years of my life is overseas. Most of my adult life is overseas. And all the while I've been doing business from NS time.
From NS time.
From the age of 18 until today. So that's, my maths is correct, it's 23 years. I've been doing business all that while. I've done various businesses from education to healthcare to F&B restaurants. I had a restaurant in Singapore.
Wow.
But these were all in the younger days. For the past 12 years, my focus has been on investments, specifically impact investments and halal investments. So that started 12 years ago. We had a previous company called Amanah Asset Management. But then later on, 10 years ago, we set up Ethis. And a lot of things have happened in these 10 years.
Yeah. Maybe just a quick fun fact. I have actually known Umar Munshi for quite a while. A long while.
Yeah.
We don't really interact, but Alhamdulillah, this is the first time that I'm finally seeing you, meeting you, interacting. First time, all face to face.
First time. Before this, all social media.
Yeah, all online.
I think the first time I saw you, you were a speaker on one of an event that Hanafi's previous company sponsored. I think that was back in 2016, 2017.
Right.
Around that time, I think that was still the ICO kind of hype.
Yes.
There was some talks about that in Singapore itself. So that was the first time. And earlier this year, the three of us actually came up with a list of people that we want to invite, and you were actually in the list.
I'm on it, on the list.
So Alhamdulillah, we managed to have you here, and thank you for taking time.
My pleasure.
So a bit about your background. Why is it like at 18 years old you mentioned you want to do business? Like, were your parents entrepreneurs, or is it something that you see in business that push you to be an entrepreneur yourself?
Yeah. So on the contrary, my family, my parents, my siblings were all educators.
Okay.
Either secular subjects. My father's been teaching economics for the past 40 years, I think.
Wow. Okay.
Economics tuition. My mom, math, science. My brothers, my siblings. Some of them teach religion. So all teachers. Like, many siblings, all teachers.
Okay.
So I'm the only one, like sort of odd one out.
Yeah.
Although recently some of them also started exploring, side hustles and some startups. So when I was 18, I came across the business world.
Okay.
I had friends doing business, and me and a few friends and I, we had an idea. So what we did a long time ago, like I keep forgetting the timeline. When I was 18, before the internet was like the way it is today, we did e-commerce business.
Okay.
At that time, young blood, we liked sporty cars. So we did an online car body kit business at the age of 18. Mostly doing the marketing online.
Okay.
And we worked with some workshops and all that. And the name was, I still remember the name was called Project Mayhem.
Okay. Wow.
Sounds like a band name, but yes.
Feels like one of the comic book episode for Batman. Right.
Yeah, so that was the first taste of business, and I liked it. I like doing business. I like the challenge. I like the underdog thing. Because you start a new business, you're an underdog. Right?
Yes.
It's difficult for you to move. At that time, it's like different world from the world today.
Yeah.
Today is the best time to do business.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
15, 20 years ago, it's a different world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But we survived. I went to NUS business school. Did not complete. Right? I thought I will, after doing business, I will learn business and go back to doing business. But for some reason, didn't resonate with me lah. Nice way of saying it. So I left. I got a leave of absence, but I never came back lah.
Okay. Okay. At that point of time, you mentioned your parents, your family were all educators, right?
Yes.
So a family member going into business is something odd for them.
Correct.
Like how do they react to that when you told them that I want to start running a business?
All right. I mean, in general, alhamdulillah, everybody is supportive. Today, everybody is good. But back then, especially at the point where I wanted to not continue university, right? So in Singapore, that's not common lah. You already in NUS, you want to drop out. What's wrong with you?
Knowing your siblings also, right? So,
My siblings are, some of them study all the way until doctorate. Right?
Yeah.
So very education, not academic, but they value education. Right? My dad did not agree, and basically he told me that if you want to do business, you got to be entirely on your own.
Okay.
Right? If you want to stay here at home and be under my roof, then you got to do what I say, which is study.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think he was. He didn't expect me to actually say, okay, fine, I'll move on. So I actually left home when I was 21.
Okay.
So that's when your journey of not being in Singapore mainly started, or?
Yeah, for a few years I was in Singapore. Then I felt Singapore was so competitive and small, and I started making friends with Indonesians. So I just decided to migrate and try my luck. Wild east.
Okay, interesting.
I think it's interesting you mentioned Singapore competitive and small, because I feel even I myself, I feel that way, and I think a lot of business owners also feel that way. But at the same time, there are people who say that the opportunity is still there.
Yep.
Like, what would you, now that you have been running business for 23 years, would you agree to what you thought of at that point of time?
Yeah, I mean, as a local market, it's definitely highly competitive. A lot of big businesses are here. A lot of them lose money here, but they're still here. So how can a small business compete with them? Right? Of course, when you talk about the startup world, it's a different matter altogether. Right? If you talk about traditional business, it's very tough.
Okay.
Right? Singapore gets high ranking for ease of starting and doing business, but ease of making profits is a different thing.
Wow.
Right? You can start a business,
yeah.
you can run a business, but to sustain it in Singapore, it's challenging with only the local market. Right? So Singapore, in general, has always been a good base for regional business or even global business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that how you position your companies nowadays, like based in Singapore, but you are doing around the region?
Initially, yes. Although our parent holding company is today in Malaysia, because we felt back then that Malaysia, there's a lot more emphasis on halal and Islamic, and they have a competitive advantage there. They have the ecosystem there. They have connectivity to the rest of the sort of halal world or Islamic economy in that sense, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we shifted to Malaysia. So it's a Malaysian company, but a Malaysian group. But I mean, that's just today you can exist anywhere and work anywhere and serve anything, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So we do have Singapore entities, and we consider ourselves to be a regional company.
Okay. You started ETHIS because when I got to know of you, I think at that point of time you were already running ETHIS or ETHIS, sorry? ETHIS, sorry.
From the word ethical.
Okay. So you've been running ETHIS for I think you mentioned 10 years, is it?
Yes.
But your business journey is 23 years.
Correct.
In the 13 years before you started ETHIS, right? What was the biggest challenge and perhaps the company that really did not make it and you have gone through a very hard time trying to sustain that company?
All right. There was one company that I spent most of my time on in Indonesia, which is a nanotech health company.
Interesting.
It's basically physical products from Japan.
Yeah.
Right? So we distributed it B2B, direct selling, and so on in Indonesia. I took the license for the Indonesian market. The business grew quite significantly. We had branches in different parts of Indonesia, but at some point it collapsed.
Okay.
And you can categorize it as some kind of internal sabotage. Where my supplier basically decided to run away with a lot of money.
Okay.
And we were left in the lurch like overnight, literally overnight. Like within a week, everything collapsed. We were on a high. Sekali everything disappeared. The money is no longer there. The stock's not there. There's nothing.
Really?
Yeah, we trusted. My mistake was we trusted that the supplier too much.
Okay.
He was based in Singapore.
Yeah.
And then I came back to Singapore to regroup, and I had a sports car at the time. Never a good idea to have sports car in Singapore.
But it probably made sense for Project Mayhem, right?
At that time, I was most of the people I was working with at that time in terms of business people were the Chinese community. The Chinese community is strong in business, right? They have a lot more business heritage, a lot more strong business fundamentals and business circles.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't generalize they're all the same. Of course, different people work differently, but the people I was with, they emphasize a lot on branding and prestige, right?
Yeah.
So you need a nice car. So that's what I had. When I came back, I was under debt, right? Because the business closed down and we had no assets and our money was gone. The most challenging thing was that the car was repossessed. Yeah. And when financial institutions repossess things from individuals, it gets very, very tough to get out of it. You get into a debt trap.
Yeah.
Right? In the sense that I had to pay daily interest, I had to pay all sorts of penalties, and I had nothing. Right? So I negotiated with them. I said, I only can pay $1,000 a month. And believe it or not, about $700 is costs and expenses.
Okay.
Out of the 1,000 that I pay, only 300 is repaying the debt. So it'll take forever.
Yeah.
So Alhamdulillah, I was able to swallow my pride and go to my dad, go to some family members.
I was just about to ask you, how do you recover?
Yeah, that's why.
Frankly, it's very difficult to recover on your own.
And is it okay for you to share what is the amount of debt that you were in at that point of time?
How much did you incur?
I mean, at that age, I was 26, I think, 27. I think it was about almost $200,000 lah.
$200,000, not that huge, guys.
I mean, not that huge lah. 100 plus thousand lah.
Okay.
100 plus thousand, yeah.
Okay.
So Alhamdulillah, my family, friends, whoever came
in support
and helped to clear the debt with the financial institution. So that I had to do some form of collective funding.
Yeah.
And then I cleared them over time.
Okay.
The point is to cut off the interest first.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So it took me about 3 years to clear the debt with the personal relations by giving tuition, which is what my family does. So if ever I wanted a way to just make some good stable income, just go back to tuition lah.
Okay.
But I mean that's not something that excites me.
Yeah.
It's good to learn and to teach and for others to learn, but it's not something that excites me lah.
Okay.
Wow. 200,000 in debt at 31 years. 26 years old.
26.
Yeah, so that was a tough one. Before that, everybody I met would say that because business was kept going up, right? There was no down yet. It was up, and then suddenly down.
Yeah.
But everybody has always told me that there's no such thing as business without ups and downs.
Yeah.
There will definitely be some kind of a downfall or a down period. Yeah. So finally it happened. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I couldn't imagine
Yeah.
me being in that position.
How did you manage
because
to pick
it's-
yourself up after that?
Yeah, and it's also it happened overnight, right? Because you say suddenly,
Within a week, like 1 week, it all
wow,
fell apart.
how to
After
you can't even
6
anticipate.
years, after
Yeah.
6 years of doing the business.
Wow.
I think something that was a bit disconcerting to my friends was that I was quite calm throughout. So they're like, "Are you okay? You're like in denial. You don't seem stressed."
Yeah. Like relax
Don't
only.
remorse. This one.
People expect you to be stressed
Yeah.
when a tragedy happens, right?
Yeah.
But alhamdulillah, I guess because of my upbringing, especially my mum, she was an ustazah. I think now she's no longer ARS. I'm not sure whether she extended it.
Okay.
But yeah, she taught us well lah. She brought us up well, so we know that Rizki is in God's hands.
Yeah.
Right? If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. You regroup and move on. Yeah, so I was very relaxed, although it was a tense situation. My wife also was like, "What's wrong with you?"
I think that's one skill I need to pick up. No matter what the tragedies, just relax and then just
Because when you run
have faith,
you run a business, depending on what kind of business you run, right?
Yeah.
We run investment business,
Yeah.
which always has a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Sometimes people will lose money.
Yes.
Sometimes those we invest in are not responsible.
Yeah.
Today, if I were to open up all the problems in my head, it will take 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
So, alhamdulillah, taking your stride, have the best intentions and the best efforts. That's all you can do. Yeah.
What was the one thing that your dad said to you at that point of time when you had to go to him and tell him about this problem?
Well, he didn't say I told you so, right? So I mean, alhamdulillah, he was gracious. He understood what happened. I explained to them, and I mean, he didn't have that much cash to support me, so we had to get a few others involved. To help me clear with that. Yeah.
Wow.
And alhamdulillah, I managed to clear it within I think
3 years.
About 3 years, yeah.
Wow, interesting. 3 years means it take you 3 years to pick yourself up from 26 to 29 years old. Here.
Yes.
Ah.
But it was a blessing in disguise. Number of incidents, significant challenges that I've gone through in my journey, in my history, turned out to be very important good things. Like 3 years later, then you see, imagine if it had happened, it would be worse. Yeah. So alhamdulillah, that's what happened to me.
Okay. Then it's about 2 years before you start Ethies, right?
Correct. Yes.
In that 2 years, what did you do after you pick yourself up, regroup, and everything? In that 2 years, what did you do?
In the 2 years, for cash flow, I gave tuition. I remember in the first year, I bought a bike, my best investment ever, and then riding around Singapore, giving tuition to anybody who needed, from English to maths, primary school, secondary school, anything I could teach, I'll teach to clear my debt, right? But when I say blessing in disguise, I realized that the way I was running business was not proper from a faith perspective.
Okay.
From a Islamic finance perspective, because I was taking loans with interest, which is not allowed.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can go very deep into that if you want, why it's not allowed from a more practical, logical perspective, right? But from a faith-based perspective, it's a strict prohibition.
No,
You're not supposed to do it. So I didn't know that we were not allowed to do it as Muslims. So only when the business collapsed, then I started to research. One of my friends introduced me to Islamic finance. I basically fell in love with the concept.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel that this was a blessing in disguise.
Okay.
Because it led me to Islamic finance.
Yeah. Because if it didn't happen, you wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
And when you're young, living alone in Indonesia, it's a country where you have extremes, I would say.
Okay.
Okay.
You can go
Extremes,
this corner and it's a Habib with 50,000 followers.
Yeah.
Then just beside it is something very dodgy.
Yeah.
You know? The family show, right? So I won't go into. Indonesia was a very interesting experience. Really opened up my mind and my eyes. But alhamdulillah, I learned how to do business in a proper way with the right intentions, the right practices. There's more ethical.
I think I want to touch a bit about the interesting.
Sure.
Actually wanted to also, but yeah.
This is based on your perhaps your own best how do I put this, like as much as you know lah. Okay. We know that interest is totally prohibited,
Yes.
but at the same time it is difficult to escape interest, especially in Singapore.
Yep.
When we talk about real estate, for example.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on that, and what are your thoughts about leveraging the what is it called? Alamak, apa ni aku nak cakap?
I don't know, bro. I can't read your mind.
Okay, so to purchase a house, you need to spend like hundreds and thousands of dollars, and then now with the property prices at millions of dollars, you definitely need to take up interest-bearing loans.
Yep.
And some say it's wrong, some say it's right. For me, I believe it's totally wrong. What are your thoughts on that, and what are your thoughts on coming up with a business concept where you leverage on the banking system, interest-bearing banking system, to purchase multiple properties?
Okay. Right. So first of all, I'm not a Sharia scholar. I can share what I hear from Sharia scholars.
To the best of your knowledge.
Yeah, to the best of knowledge. That's what I wanted to say just now.
So I mean, I have a nice beard, but it doesn't mean I'm a Sharia scholar. Maybe I'll just touch a bit on interest itself.
Yeah.
Right. For the benefit of the Muslims who are not aware, and also for non-Muslims or people at the faith. It's a very long, deep topic, but there's a very strong case and a lot of logic towards when you explain or when you explore how interest affects the world. And interest is a recent phenomenon, right? It's not like from ancient times people have interest, and in fact all the Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Judaism, all at some point used to ban interest, similar to Islam, right? Today, I guess only Islam or to some Orthodox communities still practice, but it's mainly Islam that still practices this.
Yeah.
So interest is something that immediately creates inequality, because those who have money have an advantage.
Yeah.
Those who don't have money don't have the advantage. And it gets worse when interest loans are given only to the wealthy or those who don't really need the money. And those who need the money, they're considered not credit worthy.
Yeah.
And then they're charged even higher interest, or they're forced to go to unofficial loan sharks, credit card debts, and all that, right? So the root cause of a lot of the problems we face today, inflation, inequality, runaway capitalism, these are all the underlying cause. The root cause of it is inflation, is interest, right?
Yeah.
So although it seems strange, like we agree, I lend you money, and you pay me back 10% more. We agree, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not cheating him, he's not cheating me. So people say, as long as you agree, it's fine.
Yeah.
Right? But in Islam, it's a very strict, clear prohibition because of the wider impact on humanity. Okay? So I mean, I guess that's how I can sort of gloss over it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information online, right? Now, so back to the Singapore context of housing. So I myself bought a house on interest. And I was trying to look for ideas, opportunities, avenues to avoid it. But it's either you rent, which is very expensive, or you buy, right? So the idea here, again, go to the MUIS website and do some searches. If it's for personal use, for a home, your first home, then it's deemed to be allowed. Because it's the concept of you're forced to. You don't have options.
Yep.
Right. You need a roof under your head. Rental is just too high.
Yeah.
But that doesn't allow you to go lavish and get your dream house and take a big construction loan and contractor loan for your interior and all that lah. It should be minimum what you need. Yeah.
Okay.
Second, third house, that one probably not not allowed.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So that has been my dilemma for the past few years lah. I was like thinking like, because right now I am living with my in-laws. Reasons because I'm taking care of me and my family are also taking care of my in-laws. But the thing is, technically we have a roof above our head.
Yeah.
So if we want to purchase our own house, it's definitely for investment. But we are still thinking like, is it wrong if we really leverage on the financial system to purchase the house or not?
Correct.
Because technically it's our house, but at the same time we have a roof above our head. Yeah. So that is my dilemma.
For this HDB matter, there's quite a lot of complexity. There are some grey areas that may deem it to be halal. I can share if you want, but there are grey areas. Right? For example, you're not actually buying the HDB. You are
leasing
from them.
True.
Yeah.
Okay? So there's one difference of actual substance, right, of the transaction. And the other one is when you take the HLE from the HDB, they are giving you financing, like in-house financing technically, which is not haram. Okay, let me give you an illustration. So I'm selling this to you, it's mine, right? $100. If you pay now, it's $100. If you pay over 3 months, it's 150. That's fine. There's no interest. Right? There is just a different price. Because I'm selling this to you. But if you go
strategy,
pricing strategy is fine. Deferred payment can be more expensive. But if you go to Hanafi and say, Hanafi, I want to buy this and I need $100, I'm the one who owns it. Hanafi lends you money. You give him back cash extra.
Okay.
That extra is the interest.
I see.
So in Islamic finance, you're encouraged to trade. You're encouraged to do business. You're encouraged to share profit. But you're not encouraged to lend money and make you're not allowed
from the money
to make money from money.
Okay. Oh, this is very interesting.
So are you buying from HDB? Is HDB the seller or the lender?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just coming up with questions, right? No conclusions here. Because I'm not in a position to conclude on anything. Just some things to think about. You can ask your can all email Muiz and ask them.
So I want to bring it back to business.
Yes.
And I have a question for you with regards to business and loans.
Yes.
But I think we're going to end here. If you guys want to hear more about my question, you have to tune in for part 2. So thank you guys for tuning in. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.